computer. All right, Django queries. First thing first, let's fork it over to your personal GitHub. So I'm forking it over to Tom Preet. All right, so I'm on Tom Preet Django queries. I'm going to clone that down on my local machine. But first, let's go ahead and open up a new VS Code window just so I can get to my challenges. So open up the terminal. I'm going to zoom in just so we can see it a little bit better. So I'm going to zoom CD into my desktop, CP challenges, Papa challenges right here. I'm going to list everything out. Here are all the challenges I've kind of done so far. I'm going to git clone and run that. Paste that into my terminal and let's clone it down. It's kind of taking a little while. I don't know why. Maybe my internet sucks. Come on, there we go. So I'm going to list everything out so I can see where is Django at. Django queries. I'm going to CD into Django queries. I'm going to list everything out. All right, that's good. I'm inside of Django queries Git repo. I'm going to code space -r space period and reload that. And here we are. All right, let's go ahead and actually kind of read the README. So in this challenge, you'll be working on a single model, which is product. The database schema has already been created for you. All right, let's go ahead and look at, so we have a Django project called ORM queries. And here's ORM queries, here's our settings file, and we have an app called products. And in our app, we have our model, which has been modeled for us. And let's see what it says. All right. Create a virtual environment, start it up, and then tell pip to read the requirements.txt file. So we have the command right there. So I'm going to just do Python -make venv. I'm going to, don't show this again. So I created a virtual environment. Now I need to activate that virtual environment by running source, the name of the virtual environment, which is venv, bin activate. And now I'm located within my virtual environment. Now I need to install the requirements.txt file. So the requirements.txt file is very similar to that package.json file in Node. Whenever we needed to install libraries in Node, we use a package.json file. But in Python, specifically Django, we use a requirements.txt file. And the command we want to run to install that, all these libraries, is pip install -r requirements.txt. Close that.
Tom, you know, this was one of the things that confused me a little bit. Like, I would have expected all that stuff to be in the settings.py, and that's kind of where I was looking around, but I don't know, it seemed odd. I guess that's just how it is.
Yep, so the settings Python file is not, it doesn't know what modules are imported or packages are imported into this Django project. So we have to tell it what to install, what libraries or packages to install for this Django project. And then we can connect if we wanted to, if there's some manner, depending on what libraries, how these libraries are used, we might be able to connect them to our Django project if we absolutely need to explicitly say, hey, connect this library to this project. But typically, we really don't need to do anything else but that. Seth?
So for this, the requirements say Django 3.1.7, and I imagine that's for like version control. When I did pip list though, after I did that requirements.txt, it installed 3.2.9, and I was wondering like what it is for you. Okay, 3.1.7. Okay, never mind. Must be something on my end.
Okay. Yeah, and I can change these versions, but this is probably just the old version because when this challenge was made. I think 3.1.7 was the Django version of when this project was made. So we just want to make sure that everything's still working correctly, but everything should still pretty much work correctly if you have like Django 3.2 or higher. Yeah. All right. So if you do run into issues installing when you're running that pip requirements.txt file and it's failing somewhere when it's trying to install, it could be a version. Just you can either delete that version or update that version or manually change it in here. All right. So once you set up the app, your goal is to get all the tests passing, cd into ORM queries, and run Python manage.py test. So let's just look at that. So cd into ORM queries, list everything out, and run Python manage.py test. So the manage.py file is the entry point into our app. We'll be running everything through manage.py. But let's actually look at some of our tests. So I'm inside the products app, and I'm going to open up the test file. Let's split that. All right. So here we have our tests. I think there's like 19 tests. All right. And here is our product model. Great. So the product CRUD class, let's look at the product CRUD class. This is just a class that is going to execute queries on our database for us to get practice in actually writing queries. All right, so it says run Python manage.py test. So let's run Python manage.py test. All right, it's creating the database, and it ran 19 tests, and I've got 19 errors. And so let's go ahead and how do I get the first test to fail? Like what is it? The fail fast? What is it? Python manage.py test. Is it fail fast or something like that?
Dash fail fast.
Fail fast, one word.
Like something like that. Is that it?
I think that's it, yeah.
All right, let's check that out. Cool. So let's see what test ran. So test 01, get all products. So here, test 01, get all products. So product CRUD, get all products. So we're creating an instance of product CRUD, or we're actually not even creating an instance because these are all class methods. So we're running get all products, assign it to product CRUD, and we're doing product. This is probably where we're testing from. All right, so here, how do we get returns all the products? How do we go about that? All products. Let's just, this one should be pretty straightforward. Product dot objects dot, how do we grab all the products? Oh, very simple. It's pretty much that query right there. And we can return all products. Great. So let's run that, fail fast again. All right, so it looks like that first one passed. Now the second one is failing. Find product by model. Find the matching product by model name. So find by model. So we have to create a new method called find by model. Takes in the class and maybe the model name. And here we need to grab the model, like find it by the model name. So it looks like our find by model should take in a string of the model name and return that model. Who wants to take this one? Does anybody?
I think it's product.objects.get in parentheses model, which is the name of the category that we're looking at. And then instead of the equal sign, it's going to be underscore underscore. So yeah, go back to the model, get rid of go back 3 characters. Yep, underscore, I exact.
That like that.
Yep, equals model to file or model name.
Exact.
And then this one, I did it like this, so there could be a little bit of error in the typing of the model name. So it's not case sensitive, and it just goes after the model name without the case.
Is that what the I exact does?
I think so. I think that's like, yeah, so it ignores the capital letters.
Okay, let's just run that. So we've got 2. So that second one passed, and this still will work. So you're just making the user you're making it more robust, but you could just do model equals model name as well, and that should still pass it. So either or. Whoop. Works too. Cool. All right. So
I have a quick question. This is like back to OOP week, but can you just explain really quick why these are all class methods again?
So we don't have to make an instance of product CRUD.
Okay.
That's it. Last record. So there's a method called last record that doesn't take any arguments. That should just return the last record. Class method, def last record, takes in just the class. And I'm just gonna do product equals, how do we grab the product, the last product in the database?
Objects.last.
Last, I heard. And return product. So clear. Run that. Great, that passed as well. And I'm assigning this to a variable. You don't have to do that. You could just literally return the query, and it should work as well. So if you that should work as well. So we've written 3 class methods, passed 3 times. Our most recent error is test case 4. So we've got the last record. Now we can grab the product CRUD by rating. So we got class method def by rating, and that takes in a class and a product rating. And how do we grab a product rating? Let's look at the Django queries cheat sheet. Oh, wow, that's a pretty interesting one. So grab a list. So it looks like this, find products by the rating. Anybody want to give it a shot?
Just filtered by rating.
Objects. I'm going to click on this filter and see where it takes me. Is this the most up-to-date documentation? I'm just going to type in 3. Let's see if 3.2 exists. All right, so we have filter. Returns a query set containing objects that match a given lookup parameter. Okay, let's just do try filter. Was a rating, and the rating is a float field. Rating equals product rating. All right, let's see if that works. Let's fail fast. So we should have 4. So cool. We ran 5 tests. We passed 4. And so we passed that one. Now by rating range. So this should return a list class method def. What's it called? By rating range. That takes in a low range and a high range. So low and high. So it takes in the class, low, high, and returns product dot objects dot filter. Does anybody know this one? Return.
I use rating underscore underscore range equals, and then I put the range. So here it's rating underscore underscore range.
What's the range do?
So range, you pass it 2 arguments, and then it looks for anything between those 2 arguments.
Okay.
But it's an equal sign after range.
Oh, like that?
Yeah.
All right, let's see if this works. We got 5. Cool. So rating and color. There's also another one we can use in addition to this. I like this range one. Does anybody else know of one?
I use LTE and GT.
Yep. So greater than or equal to low. So this GTE stands for greater than or equal to the low, or the rating underscore is less than or equal to the high. So that works as well. It should work. Yep. So both of these work.
Hey, Tom, I have a question. Can you explain the difference between an argument and a parameter? Like, I've read it a bunch of times, but I still don't really understand it.
So it's inclusive, which is good. And it also kind of nice. It gives you kind of the actual SQL equivalent of what that does. And then we do GTE. Let's see, just greater than or equal to, greater than or equal to, less than or equal to. All right. So what by rating and color, at class method def by rating underscore and color takes in a rating and a color. I'm just going to do product rating and product color, and we can return product.objects.filter. You're going to be using filter a lot for the rating equals prod rating. So it can take in multiple arguments, this filter. So you can filter from the rating field and comma separated by the color equals product color field. So I'm just looking at here. All right, rating and color. Clear, let's run that. Uh-oh, what happened?
Got the class in your arguments.
Product rating and color.
I don't think Tom can hear anyone.
Tom, can you hear us?
Can somebody just scream?
I don't think you hear anyone.
Ground control, Major Tom.
Thank you.
Tom, can you hear us?
Method.
I think he might have lagged out.
There we go. So number 6 is by rating and color. Number 7 is by rating or color. So we got at class method.
And he's a genius.
Def by rate. by rating or color.
I sent them a Slack message. We'll see.
Oh, we got people who's raising their hand.
Tom,
Tom,
no one
can
can
you
Can you
hear
guys
us?
hear me?
No,
We can hear you fine. You can't hear us.
What's going on here? I can't hear you guys. Can you guys hear me?
We can hear you fine.
I
You
can't hear you.
us. You can't hear us. Yes, we know
What's
that.
going on? I'm gonna. All right.
We heard everything that you were saying. Gilmer had a quick question there.
All right, Guillermo, go ahead.
Yeah, I just need a quick explanation of what an argument and a parameter is. But you need to explain it to me like I'm 8 years old, because I've read the docs. I always get confused and I still don't really quite get it.
So a parameter, if I recall, this is what a parameter is. Like what you're going to be calling this prod rating. So when you're defining the function, when you're passing in, when you're naming your parameters, that's what this is called, when you're actually naming it. But when you're passing in an argument, the argument is the actual value that you're going to be passing in here. So if the prod rating, so for example, over here, prod rating 4.3 is the argument and blue is the argument. But down here, prod rating and prod color, those are like the named parameters. And correct me if I'm wrong, if anybody heard otherwise. So when you're defining the function, you're going to name a prod rating parameter and prod color parameter. But the actual values, when you're passing them in, those are the arguments. All right. Any other questions? I saw like 4 people raise their hand, but I think that was just trying to get my attention. And I saw yeah. But does anyone have any other questions about the filter prod?
Question on number 6, the rating and color. I have it set up exactly like you do, but for some reason it was finding more output than the test case showed when I didn't put exact in there. For some reason, it was forcing me to put exact to get the correct output.
When you say exact, where are you putting the exact at?
Like after filter, rating __ exact.
Okay. Not quite sure why that is. We can take that offline to see. I don't know. I wonder if it might be a new version. Yeah, I'm not quite sure.
Okay.
Yeah, that's interesting. Anybody else have any other questions? Before I mute myself again? Or before I mute my headphones? All right. So we've done color by color and rating, or rating and color. Now we're going to do by rating or color. So let's just say like Django model or field or query. Let's just see what that looks like. Oh guys, so you have to look through contains. No, this is not what I want. Let's see. I'm just looking. This is why you have to read through the docs. Filter, so there's contains. Can anybody help me with the or part?
Yeah. For more complex queries, you can use queue objects, which you import from Django.db.models. and then you can use an or statement in your filter with just a straight line.
So right here, complex looks up with Q objects, keyword arguments, queries, and filters, and did together. All right, the Q object is an object to encapsulate a collection of keyword argument special. All right, for example, for this Q encapsulates a single like query. Whoop. And using and or this ampersand or whatever that is, and this or operators. So Q, question starts with who, question starts with what. So or, the equivalent is where question like who or question, okay, so this is it. So this is the exact thing I'm looking for, but I'm gonna need to import that at the very top. And down here, I'm just gonna copy this over, whoop, not that. No, I just gotta keep like paranoid. I'm gonna mute myself or mute my headphones. Product.objects.filter, and that would be Q rating equals prod rating, or Q color equals prod color. Does that look right? We'll run it and find out. So clear. All right, cool. That one passed. Cool. All right. So color or rating, no color count. So no color count. So class method, def no color count. Doesn't take any arguments, it looks like here. So returns the count of products that have no color value. What was that for? So I can just return product dot objects dot filter where color equals none. What does that return? I'm just going to print that and see what that looks like. So if I run that, whoa. So when I print that, this is what's actually being printed out. It's printing a query set object that looks like a list of product instances. So, but it looks like returns the count of products. So if you look at no color count, so we actually just want to count all these. So there'd be like whatever 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and whatever, however long this list, this query set list is. Does anybody know how I get the count of the number of objects returned?
Dot count.
Dot count.
I just added len and then put the statement in parentheses and it passed the test.
Okay. Here, but we have this nice little object called count, as several of you just said, returns an integer representing the number of objects in the database matching the query set. So this is all the matches. Now we can just do dot count. And I just want to show you dot count up there. If I clear the terminal, run that. So we ran 9 tests now. So that's what's being printed out on line 40. And that also matches our assert equals. Cool. So 9, below price or above rating. So let's do add class method. I just did something def. def below price or above rating. Below price, above rating. So we can kind of combine a couple of these. So I'm going to return product dot objects dot filter. So if I want to do or, so Q price cents, so less than below price, or Q rating greater than, is it greater than? Greater than above rating. I think that should do it. Uh-oh, what did I do? I did something, I got out of my virtual environment somehow. So if I ran Python like manage .py test fail fast, I get like something that's messed up because I did something that get me out of my virtual environment. So I need to go back in my virtual environment, source venv bin activate. Great. I'm going to list everything out. I need to get into the same level as my manage.py file, so I'm not there yet. So I can cd into ORM queries, list everything out. There's my manage.py file. Now I'm back to square one, and I can run that Python manage.py test fail fast. All right, so it passed all 9. Now it's failing at 10. So test 10, ordered by category, alphabetical order, and then price. So returns products ordered by category, alphabetically, and descending price. Jeebus. Let's see, run that. At class method. All right. Def. That's a long. Is that what it's actually called? Yeah. All right. So that doesn't take any arguments or no parameters I need to pass in. So I can do return product dot objects. So I just want to make sure I know what the hell I am returning. So returns products ordered by category, alphabetically, and then descending order. So I'm going to grab all the products. I'm going to order by category. Oh. So let's actually just print that. And now it's going to fail probably, but let's just see what that looks like. It's going to be a big so here it is. Products ID 10. So it should return all the product IDs, obviously. So 1, 10. Okay. And now how do I return descending orders? Django query descending order. Whew. There's a Stack Overflow.
Just add a minus in front of the column that you want to sort by.
So here I've got filters like order by. So notice the minus before check-in. All right. So I'm going to do minus, is it by price cents. I think that's what that field is called. Price cents. All right, I'm going to clear the terminal, run that test. Cool. So this order by orders it by whatever category you pass in. So I'm ordering it by the category. And then I'm putting it in descending order. So I've got return products made by manufacturers with names containing an input string. So it contains, all right. Got at class method, def name like all right, so I can return product dot objects dot which one should I use for this one? Start calling on people.
Contains.
So dot contains. Whoop. The hell just happened? Object contains like that.
It'll be dot filter, and then manufacturer double underscore contains equals name like I think.
Let's run that. Put that up here. All right, so that one worked. What does I contains? Is that also similar? So if I do so contains I contains. What does the I in front of the contains do?
Is it disregards capital letters and capitalization?
Yep. So there's also a case insensitive version I contains as well. All right. Let's go down to 12. 12 returns a list of manufacturer names that match a query. Class method def. All right. I'm going to just say name. So returns the list of manufacturers. All right. Let's see. Return product dot objects dot filter manufacturer double underscore I contains equals name. Let's look at what that looks like. Product or print. I'm just going to do that and see what that returns. So it looks like it's failed. So it returns a query set, but I need it to return that like the list. So how do I get that? How do I convert that to a list?
Dot values list.
So dot values list. Okay, like that?
Yeah, parentheses. And then inside the thing you're looking for, so it'd be in quotation marks, manufacturer.
Okay.
And then comma, flat equals true.
What does the flat equals true do?
I think it returns tuples, so you need to kind of flatten it out to get an actual list.
So where did it go? What did I just do? Whoop. Let's run that. value list. So here we have, I just want to see what that looks like with flat equals false. I don't even know if that's going to work. Let's see what that does. So yeah, it looks like it returns a list of tuples. And if we do flat equals true, it extracts these elements outside of the tuple. So it's just a list. Cool. So we can get rid of, just add that to it. Clear and run that. All right, so not in a category, so that one passed. So returns products that are not in a category. So def, let's do class method. Def. Class method, not in a category. Return product dot objects dot
exclude.
So category equals category. So we've got this exclude method now. All right, limited, not in a category. So that one passed. Returns products that are not in a category up to a limit. So I can just do amount. So this was going to return a list of IDs. So product excludes, and now
what? Bracket, colon, amount.
What is this?
That just returns, or that only returns whatever the amount. Yeah, I don't know how to technically describe it.
This is like the slicing of a list. So
okay,
it starts at index 0 and goes to the amount that is, I think it's exclusive. All right. Cool. So that worked. So a few more, several more. So where's 15? Returns an array of manufacturers for a category. So at class method, def class. Is that what it was? Category manufacturers. Category. Return product dot objects dot filter. We do category equals category. Whoop. So returns an array of manufacturers for a category. Is that kind of similar? Didn't we do that kind of before? Returns a list of man. Can I do like the value list again? And then do is it manufacturer?
Yeah.
Manufacturer. And then flat equals true. Oh, what am I doing? Let's run that. So hopefully 15 passed. Yep, Pat. So average category rating.
Sorry, I know it was probably explained earlier, but can you explain the flat again for me? I'm sorry.
Yep. So the value list, it's kind of weird. The value list will return a list of tuples. So I don't know if you've, so yeah, let's just run that. just do value list. I don't know if I need that second argument passed in. So notice how this list is a list of tuples. So right here, this is a tuple. It's another data type, data structure that's not, I don't want to say it's not used anymore, but similar to an array, but different. And uses parentheses and it's comma separated. But at the very end of the tuple, it also has a comma, but they're not used that widely anymore. So that flat true essentially extracts the elements from the tuples and just stores it into an array. So if I do that flat equals true, it flattens that. So it's no longer a list of tuples, it's just a list. Like so.
Perfect. That clears it up. Thank you.
Yep. All right. Class method. So average category rate returns the average category rating. Def class. What is it? Rating. Category, because it returns the average of a category rating. So returns product dot objects dot, what do we want to do here? Filter. Is it the same category equals category? Yep. And now what?
Aggregate.
Aggregate. What does aggregate do?
So within the parentheses, you can put different things. So aggregate, this time it would be like average, AVG, and then ratings.
So average rating.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see like AVG. Do I have an average?
Oh, you have to import it above.
So I'm going to have to import average. So I'm going to do from Django DB models, import average, like that. So I guess I can also do, so I don't need necessarily to do average or import it separately.
So I want to see if this works on your computer, because yesterday it didn't work on mine. I actually had to add something else later.
Yep, it looked like it worked. What did you have to add specifically?
I actually had to put Django.db.models.aggregates import average. When I just put it in after the queue, it wouldn't import it, but yeah.
Well, at least you got it to work. That's good. Yeah, that's weird though. All right, now we have to return the greatest price. All right. So the greatest returns the highest price. Def doesn't take in any arguments or parameters. Return product dot objects. Heard that aggregate. Over here was there.
And there's a max.
There's a max. Where is that at? So max. All right. Is it max? Is it price cents? And it looks like I'm gonna have to import that as well. See if that works. So it grabs the max price. All right, that worked. Two more. longest model name returns the ID of the product with the longest model name. So at class method, def longest model name, return product dot objects. Does anybody want to try to do this one?
Yeah, I got it.
All right.
I used order by.
Order by.
Yeah, in parens, it's capital length or capital L length, and then in parentheses and in quotes model.
All
and
right.
then outside of that, right there, dot ASC. In parents again. And then outside of those parents, dot last, parents, dot ID.
Dot ID, like that.
And then we need to import length in 1 second.
All right. You gotta import.
You're going to import length from django.db.models.functions.
Functions. Import the length. So we're ordering by the length in ascending order. So it's, and then, so it starts at the length with model names smaller and it's ascending. Then we're grabbing the last value in that list and we're grabbing the ID.
Yeah.
Awesome.
If there's a better way to do that, I'd love to know. That felt really janky.
I don't know if there's a better way to do it. But here's how I did it. Pretty much very similar to yours, except I'm descending and then doing the value list by its ID. And then so it's a list now. I'm doing the flat equals true. And I'm just grabbing the very first index.
Oh, yeah, that's cool.
But either or work. That's great. Last one. Hurry up and take a break. Order by model length. Def. '18 is like was the toughest. Return product dot objects dot order by that length model. And all tests passed. Any questions on the Django queries?
Yes. Could we take a look at test 15 again? I just want to look at the test you wrote.
Category manufacturers. Right here. So returns an array of manufacturers for a category. So we grab that category, we grab all, we filter it by the category. So we just grab all we have a query set of all products in that category. We turn it into a value list and we're listing out the manufacturer. So it's returning a list of those manufacturers.
Okay, so that products.objects.filter category equals category, that gives us all of the records that meet that filter. And
Correct.
then values list is going to take all those records and it's going to extract a specific value. Okay, thank you. I was a little confused. I appreciate it.
Yeah, the values list is going to essentially make it a list based off of and it's going to make a list of whatever field you want. So we want a list of manufacturer names.